Welcome. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining my very first health and safety webinar. My name is Joanna Carrington and I am a health and safety advisor at the university. I'm hosting today's webinar. It is on the changes to the generic risk assessments and what you need to do. For those of you with other risk assessments, I will go through what you need to do to meet this year's key performance indicator on risk assessments. This is the first of what I hope is a series of health and safety webinars just for you. The aim is to give you up-to-date information you need right at your desk without impacting on the day job. The webinars will give guidance on what you need to do and top tips on getting it right. So when inspection comes around, your health and safety file will be inspection ready. The series will be promoted throughout the year and I look forward to having you at the others. If you have any queries, please email safety@essex.ac.uk and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. One last thing. The webinars are recorded on YouTube via Google Hangouts. This means you'll be able to listen again and share with others. If you miss one, you can easily catch up. Let's begin with the generic risk assessments. In August, we update the health and safety documents you use. The biggest change to the generic risk assessments is the format. We wanted to make our generic risk assessments meet the university's new standard for risk assessment layout. They are still on the website and have the same URLs. Let's have a look at the office risk assessment. I'll now talk through how you can find it online. You need to go to the university homepage and in the search engine box here, type in health and safety and click on the link. And this is the health and safety homepage. The office risk assessment is under physical environment, indoor work environments, and here's the link here. Click on that and there we go, it downloads. Let's open it up. You'll notice that there are comment boxes on the risk assessment. These provide guidance on what you need to put into the risk assessment. You'll need to remove these guidance notes once the risk assessment is completed. The assessment itself is the table that I'm going to highlight here. There we are. And each row has information about hazard. So in the first column, I'll scroll down so we can look at an example. Let's have a look. Here we go. Here, highlighted in blue, is for electrical equipment. So in the first column, it talks about the hazardous event and consequence. So a hazard is something with the potential to cause harm. Hazards can only cause harm if someone or something interacts with it, creating an opportunity for harm to arise, and that's called a hazardous event. And there is a probable outcome or consequence of that hazardous event. So for electrical equipment, it's electricity. Electrical equipment is our hazard. Contact with live components is our hazardous event. And electric shock is our consequence. In column 2, who might be harmed, we've got employee who uses the equipment could be harmed. Let's have a look at another another hazard up here, highlighted in blue, slips and trips. You'll notice in the who can be harmed column, we've got employees, visitors, students and contractors. Note, this is new. Being clear who is at risk from which hazard. You'll need to check that the hazard applies to your area and either remove it if it doesn't or add it if they're missing. This is a generic risk assessment after all, and you'll need to change it to suit your circumstances. Also, check that the people at risk from those hazards is right. Add or remove groups of people to suit your arrangements. It's worth noting that you should pay particular attention to people at increased risk in your area. For more information on these groups, can be found on our risk assessment page. So back to our homepage, risk assessment, people at risk. So these are the groups of people you need to think about who might be at particular risk in your area. Let's go back to the risk assessment. There we go. The third column, current controls, and I'll just bring that up so it's slightly better to see. So current controls. This column contains the risk control measures put in place to adequately control the risk from the hazard. Control measures listed here aren't new and were in the old version. You should already have them in place. Risk control measures impact on how likely the hazardous event will happen and the severity of the outcome. However, if the risk controls are not in place, this could affect what's in the column 4, this multicoloured here, because this is the risk estimation based on the current controls and how they impact on likelihood and consequence. This is new, column 4. The old risk assessment did not estimate risk. You had no idea what was dangerous or not. You'll need to check that the risk controls in your area meet what's here to get the current risk control levels in column 4. If you have different controls, the likelihood of consequence could change from what's recorded here. You will need to change that in your risk assessment. And if you need help, contact your lead health and safety advisor. You'll see at the bottom a colourful table. There we go. This is our new risk estimation table, and you'll see it's made up of likelihood of hazardous event and consequence. So let's look at our example of electrical equipment. We're saying with all our risk controls that it's very unlikely that an employee will come in contact with a live component. But if they did, the outcome is still catastrophic. So we calculate that as a medium risk. If you do not have any further controls to add, put no additional controls in column 5 here. If you do, input them into column 5 and put in your residual risk. If you do not have any additional controls, your residual risk remains the same as in what's in 4. If you do have additional controls, make a note of who's responsible and the date achieved. We have updated other generic risk assessments. They are our driving for work risk assessment and our suite of event risk assessments. I will now show you where you can find those online. If you go to our home page and click on activities, driving for work generic risk assessment can be downloaded here. Our event risk assessments can be under activities, organising events, and they can be downloaded here. We have one for general events in Colchester, events in Southend, risk assessments and marquee events, and a risk assessment for an event held in the HEX on Colchester campus. To get inspection ready, this is what you need to do. Archive your old risk assessments, download the new risk assessments, check them and change them to suit your circumstances, get the responsible manager to sign and date them, evidence has been communicated to the people who need to know, and add it all to your health and safety file. The 1617 key performance indicator is to review your other risk assessments if you have them. You will need to look at your current risk assessments and decide what needs to be done to get your risk assessments up to standard. Don't panic. Your link advisor is here to help you, and this is what you need to do. The first step is make an appointment with your lead advisor to look at a sample of risk assessments. You can find out who your link advisor is from our website. Together, you'll go through and identify what already is meeting the standard and the areas that need improving. We have a checklist available for you to follow, and I'll show you where that is after this. The department will produce an action plan on how it is proposed to bring the current risk assessments up to standard. Again, there is an action plan template, and I'll show you where to find it after this. This needs to be signed by the head of department or section, dated and submitted to the Health and Safety Advisory Service within 2 months of the analysis. Next year, the KPI is to evidence that you have met your action plan, and it will be measured through submission of an updated risk assessment action plan and a sample of risk assessments to the Health and Safety Advisory Service. But that's next year, and I'll be in touch nearer the time. So the materials available to help you with this can be found under risk assessment, carrying out a risk assessment, and plan. And here is the action plan template and the risk assessment checklist. If you want more information, we can go to our risk assessment webpage. We have training as well, risk assessment made easy courses and risk assessment masterclasses. Go to HR Organiser and book your place. Alternatively, speak to your departmental health and safety advisory lead advisor for more advice. If you've enjoyed today's webinar, check Linda. It's a leading provider of online video training available to university staff. That is the end of my webinar. Thank you for listening.